I'm Elsa Bertils, working for Race for the Baltic in Sweden as a project manager for our part of the project. Race for the Baltic work with a lot of different projects within saving the Baltic Sea with the eutrophication problem as the main task. Race for the Baltic has been working together with John Nurminen Foundation, one of the Finnish partners in former projects, and they described about this project. And this is for us the first one working towards the agriculture sector, and we have been looking for projects in that sector for a long time, since it's a very important part, but we are new to that. So one of our main focus is coordinating the field trials in Sweden. We are performing those in 3 different places in the country. We're still waiting for the results there, but the gypsum has been spread. And that part began with a demonstration field trial, or demonstration spreading, where we also had invited the Crown Princess of Sweden, Victoria, and a lot of media to get help to spread the word about gypsum spreading, which was a very nice event last year, which was the starting of the field trials. And besides that work, we also work a lot with stakeholder dialogue, describing about gypsum spreading to authorities and to farmers and advisories, and also trying to understand what they are curious about and what their needs and worries are about gypsum spreading, to make sure that we find that within the project. Until now we haven't had that much reaching out to farmers, but since the results will begin to come now during summer and next year, we will reach out more to farmers too, because they are mainly interested in the results from the Swedish trials, and that's why that part is waiting a little bit. First of all, we need to have good results in Sweden from the field trials. This gypsum treatment is something that they do in Finland, but in Sweden we do have structural lime, which is an alternative method, but that also have pretty much the same effect. So we need to relate the effects and the costs to the structural lime and make sure that they are as good as those. And then also a very important part is to find a gypsum supply in Sweden that is sustainable and also economically feasible for the farmers. And thirdly, to make sure that the farmers also can get financial support for gypsum treatment in the same way that they can have for structural liming, since that is important for them to be able to do the measure. We are trying to do the best for the Baltic Sea, and in that case, both structural liming and gypsum treatment are important measures to make, and both of them are having good effects. We do know that we have many good solutions, and we want them to happen in as large scale as possible.
I'm Inta Dimante Demantovica, and I'm from Latvian Institute of Aquatic Ecology, where I'm a senior researcher, and I'm also a Latvian team project leader in GYPREG project from our institute side. We started to discuss this idea with Petri from Musica quite a long time ago, and I found it very exciting to have possibility to study in details to check how and whether gypsum works on Latvian agricultural soils, because we have a long time history and traditions to use liming in Latvia, but not gypsum. So I was wondering why and if there is some potential in this material. Good thing is that our farmers are rather positive and responsive to new methods. So we got a lot of support from them, and also willingness to join activities on field. Our first results are rather interesting and maybe not exactly as we planned them to be, but I think it's normal to have challenges throughout the project and to look for solutions. So we have been now testing first intensively used in agriculture soils, and we do not see exactly the same pattern as, for instance, people used to have in Finland, or other countries were using gypsum. But we are now planning to do more testing and to see how we can actually apply gypsum if we change methodology, or if we change, for instance, soil type, or maybe if we change gypsum type, because we have found out that there are several sources of gypsum we could actually use. I like that sustainable system in Finland where every step is planned and already foreseen, but makes it very easy for farmers to apply gypsum to agricultural lands. So a dream would be that we find efficient way and appropriate soils, and we create system that is supporting farmers to use gypsum.
My name is Iveta Grudowska, and I am agricultural expert in Farmers Parliament. We have approximately 700 members, so we are really deep involved in agriculture, policy making process, and projects. Our members are from small farm size till a really big, because gypsum amendment, it is a new experience from our neighbors. We are really interested to participate in different projects where we could get some good ideas how to show our farmers new trends and maybe some new technologies, how to work in our fields, get more sustainable yield, but also protect our water courses, how to avoid from phosphorus leaching, and maybe also in our country, in our soils, we can test gypsum as one of the material helps us to avoid from phosphorus leaching. In our country, gypsum spreading is something absolutely innovative. We never worked with gypsum in our fields before. We work together with our partners from Latvia, with our scientists who try the gypsum effectivity in spots. So the next step, we installed a demo field where we spread gypsum directly on the field, and field is very equipped with a good drainage system, so we could take from this field leaching water and see what will be happening with soluble phosphorus. Of course, we will analyze also soil, how big difference is between pots experiments and experiments in the field. We have very, very different soil types. For us, it's very important to understand better which type of soil gypsum amendment will be most effective. Farmers Parliament have one very, very interesting tool where our farmers can see different type of maps. One of them is our soil types. In these maps we could see where is located loamy, clay and sandy soils. When we could get some good results, then we can put in our map the fields or suitable place where we could suggest our farmers, yes, please, you can choose gypsum as one of good amendment. We also hope it will be something new from this project that we could get for new projects.
I'm Markku Ollikainen, coming from University of Helsinki. I'm Professor Emeritus and current Research Director. I was in the, let's say, advisory board of the earliest field experiment trap project that Petri was leading. I made the first economic calculations based on that, and those results were so promising that then I actually invited Petri to join me, and we started this SAVE project that led to this large-scale application of gypsum. I want to see how the costs relating to the abatement rates evolve, and what is the possibility of using gypsum as a Baltic Sea wide measure to reduce phosphorus loads. So we have some high hopes. Gypsum has very a kind of low cost of abating phosphorus, so that we could then, let's say, convince European Union and the coastal countries to take a large-scale gypsum amendment on arable soil. But we have almost all relevant economic data. But of course, most of the field experiments have started only now, and some pot experiments are also on the way. So we are hoping that we get these results concerning reduction of phosphorus due to gypsum amendment by fall, and then we can finalize the results. Obviously, it's a material itself that may vary in its costs, but other costs are quite even because spreading uses similar technology. And the other thing that impacts costs is the distance from the factory or the place where the gypsum is provided to the field. If that is long, then that increases cost. But otherwise, I would say that the technologies are identical. So in most cases, the costs are identical as well. Of course, the best outcome would relate that we find out that the gypsum amendment works in all arable soils along the Baltic Sea states. Given that the agriculture is the highest polluter currently of the Baltic Sea, and it counts almost 70% of all our loads. So if we find out a measure that could reduce this amount by, let's say, 20 to 30%, that would mean that we are a big step towards implementing the Baltic Sea Action Plan. And given the Finnish calculations, we can reduce 50% of phosphorus loads by using gypsum. So we don't need that high reduction rates even. So 20 to 30% and application in all eligible fields, about 4.6 million hectares, would do very much good for the Baltic Sea.